If you're looking for a great drive, you may well be interested in the trip I'm about to head off on. I'm in the New South Wales Southern Highlands in the lovely town of Mittagong. Mittagong's roughly just over 100 k's south of Sydney and 170 k's out of Canberra. Now from here I'm going to head south down to Berrima, into Moss Vale and over to Kangaroo Valley. Sure, can be done in a day, but I'd recommend an overnighter to fully experience the beauty of the Southern Highlands. So let's hit the road and check it out. A good place to start out your trip is the Southern Highlands Tourist Information Centre. Before you leave Mittagong, grab a coffee and check out the antique stores. If that's not your thing, there's plenty of beautiful country roads for you to take a detour on and explore. When you're ready to head on to Berrima, jump onto the Old Hume Highway. The Old Hume Highway can live up to its name in certain spots. Hey, but if you ask me, that's decades of character built into the road. And if we were to take the Hume motorway, which runs parallel over here to my right, you'd miss out on all this fantastic scenery and the beautiful little towns that we've been driving through. If you're at all interested in history, you have to stop at Berrima and have a nose around. First thing I noticed was that fantastic sign outside.
It's probably very early 20th century. If you look at the floorboards, very, very, very old.
What's the house specialty?
My scones.
Your scones?
Absolutely.
To die for?
Completely.
Berrima hosts a significant piece of Australian law and order history. There's the old Berrima Jail, which before its closure in 2011 was Australia's oldest operating jail. And the neighbouring courthouse, built in 1835, has now been made into a museum. G'day, how you going? Mark, how are you?
How are you? Good.
The Courthouse Museum hosts a spooky audio-visual show which brings to life the courtroom of old. Colin introduced us to some of the stars of the show.
Just below the bench there is the tipstaff and clerks of the court. These two nasties here are obviously the accused, Martin Beach and Lucretia Dunkley.
If you feel like a pit stop before heading on, the Surveyor General Inn is the oldest continuously licensed pub in the country. Then it's an easy cruise south to Moss Vale. Moss Vale has several historical buildings, and in the centre of town is the Leighton Gardens, which is great for a family picnic. But I'm going to head on to the Moreton National Park to check out the Fitzroy Falls. When you arrive at Fitzroy Falls, you don't have to walk too far at all to get to the first lookout. Only 200 metres from the car park to see this, a beautiful view of the valley and the stunning waterfall. From natural beauty to man-made wonders, welcome to Grandpa's Shed.
One of the most common items that people like are boxes, well-branded old brands.
Yeah.
People like them and they're worth a few bucks.
There's old toys, instruments, magazines, pretty much anything you can think of. From here, the road gets exciting. Well, so far, not only has the drive been picturesque, but it's been pretty cruisy as well. Now we're heading down into Kangaroo Valley. The road starts to get a little bit twisty and turny, up a few hills, down a few hills. It's much more of a driver's road. Very enjoyable. Whether it's a day trip or an overnighter, there are so many options down here in the Southern Highlands. If you're bringing the family down, well, it's a great place for them to run around in all the different playgrounds and the bush. There's plenty of places to stop and eat along the way. It's a great place for a romantic weekend away for two. And I can seriously understand why so many car clubs come down to this area for drives, because there's just so many great roads to choose from. As you head into Kangaroo Valley, you are greeted by the stunning Hampden Bridge, the only surviving suspension bridge from the colonial period in New South Wales. Well, here we are. We've just crossed the Hampden Bridge and we're in Kangaroo Valley, which brings this great drive to an end. But there's still plenty more to explore, such as Bowral and Berry down the road, just to name a few. So get your sat nav out and start exploring.